Welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We have with us Dr. Paul Ong, who is a cardiologist from Mount Elizabeth Novena Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Ong.
Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, Dr. Ong. We were just having a lovely, personal chat before the cameras and the mics came on, asking a little bit of background, digging in and being busybodies. And Dr. Paul Ong, you're originally from Hong Kong.
I am.
Welcome to Singapore. I mean, you've been here for a while, obviously.
Yeah, this is home.
This is home for you.
We love Hong Kong, by the way.
We do.
Thank you.
We just gave away a fantastic trip to Hong Kong.
We did.
I love Singapore even more. Located here.
You did relocate here, yeah. I mean, just a little bit of casual talk, I think, before we go on air and start the thing. What's Hong Kong like now? I haven't been to Hong Kong for ages. What would you say? Are the busy places?
Quieter than before.
Quieter than
But
before.
now you don't need to book. You can actually walk into the fancy restaurants that you want to go.
Actually, it's true.
Okay, so in that sense, it's less crowded. So it's more of the Hong Kong of old that I'm more used to.
Which is
I
nice.
kind of skipped the part where it was really, really crazy. So I left Hong Kong in the 80s when I went to UK. So
I see.
So I didn't quite see the one in the 90s when it
90s,
was
yeah.
really a bit mad.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
now felt a little bit more like the Hong Kong of old that I was more used to.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely. So that
Mid
must
80s to early 90s,
yeah.
it was just
Before
bustling.
97,
Hong Kong
yeah.
was really, really
Yes,
bustling.
yes.
Even
It
the
was.
movie scene.
Yes,
for example.
I was that era.
that era.
Sure and
Nice.
far.
The old days.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So it's a good time for people to go to Hong Kong and visit.
Yes. Are you giving out air tickets to that?
Oh, no, we already just gave out 4 tickets to Hong Kong for,
Yes.
what was it, a 5-night stay?
Yeah, that's right.
5-night stay, yeah.
I'm not qualified.
No,
for
you're
that.
not. You're not. You know it well enough.
All right.
Okay, so today we'll be talking about blood pressure
Yes.
and how we can tame it before it takes over us.
Yeah.
Right?
Important.
Tell us a little bit more about blood pressure first.
Well,
and
we need to talk about blood pressure because it's really, really common. Okay, if you read your newspapers, you notice that 1 in 3 of Singaporeans actually have high blood pressure. And the scary part is 50% of people with high blood pressure, they didn't even know it. So it is important that, if you hear nothing from me, at least make an effort to check your blood pressure, your own blood pressure, and you'll be surprised. People in the 30s still think they're invincible, right? You know, they're the Superman and Superwoman, but you need to check your blood pressure. That's one of the things. If you don't check, you will know. So 50% of people who have high blood pressure wasn't actually diagnosed. And then the other 50%, only half of them were treated, and only half of those actually treated and hit target.
Yeah.
So you can see that's a big problem. And in Singapore, as I said, 1/3 of the population potentially have high blood pressure, and the number is still growing. A lot of them actually to do with our lifestyle as well.
Yeah, it's a sneaky condition. It's a
It
very
is
sneaky
a silent
condition.
killer.
silent
Okay,
killer.
let's go on air, and we'll go into it a little deeper.
Sure.
More than double the 1 million Australia won for winning the last edition in 2023. And that's your sports update on The Big Show.
Kiss 92 Sports is brought to you by SPC. Formulated with advanced additives and friction reduction technology, SPC Level effectively cleans your engine, restores power and performance for a smoother, more responsive drive, all with greater fuel savings.
Kiss 92.
I listen all day. My favorite station. We love it.
Kiss 92.
Turn it up.
You're tuned to The Big Show's Good Morning Doctor, brought to you by Mount Elizabeth Hospitals, dedicated to providing you quality and comprehensive health care. At Mount Elizabeth Hospitals, it's possible.
Waking up Singapore. Gotta get up. The Big Show on Kiss 92. Gotta get up.
Good morning, Singapore. We welcome cardiologist from Mount Elizabeth Novena Hospital, Dr. Paul Ong. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning again.
Good morning, Dr. Ong. Today we're talking about blood pressure. We have called it the silent killer because it is what it is. Can you tell us a little bit more about how high blood pressure is caused?
Well, there are really a lot of reasons, right? I guess a slightly sedentary lifestyle, you're not doing enough exercise, you put on weight, obesity is another one. There are some smaller print stuff, such as the endocrine problems like thyroid disease. But, a lot of it is due to an aging. So that's why Singapore, we're seeing more of it. You're getting older. The population is getting older. And we're seeing more high blood pressure because of that. And sometimes you hear the senior colleagues sort of sarcastically saying that, I have consumed more salt than you have in rice in a lifetime. So salt is the other thing. So salt is really important and really topical. You hear in the media now, we're leveraging on that to actually educate the public, the importance of reducing salt consumption. And in Singapore, almost 90% of us are consuming more than the recommended amount of sodium chloride per day. The cutoff is like 2 grams a day, and a lot of us are far exceeding that.
2
There
grams.
needs to be a balance as well, right, doctor? Because, if you're not consuming enough salt, that's going to lead to other issues.
Yes, but it's too much. That's the issue. And I just came back from London last month for the European Congress of Cardiology, Society of Cardiology. And they actually revamped the whole hypertension guidelines for the doctors, for the cardiologists. And salt is also highlighted. Okay, they're now promoting that if you must to add some salt to taste, think about replacing some of the sodium with potassium. So that's one of them. And know about pay attention to what you're eating. After all, we are what we eat.
Yeah.
And I did make an effort to stroll around NTUC and all that and have a look. 1 pack of instant noodles is already exceeded the 2 gram sodium consumption.
Exactly.
Okay, and a lot of us don't cook at home. So, it is hard. Sometimes you actually tell the patient you need to do this and that, and they say, hey, but the uncle and auntie in hawker centre is never going to be bothered with me, have less salt. But you can do something. It's your choice. Okay, and a lot of the gravies actually have a lot of salt, so you don't make a habit of finishing your noodles and scoop up the last spoon of gravy. So that there are something that you can do about it.
So for all you curry and laksa lovers, oh my gosh, drinking the whole bowl of soup and gravy.
More than half the population are foodies.
Yeah.
That is the issue.
I looked it up. You said 2 grams per day per person.
Yeah, that's one
1 teaspoon is equivalent to 5 grams.
Exactly.
So sometimes you see people cooking and they're scooping up teaspoons and putting it in the whole dish. That's already way too much.
If you were to make changes right now, for the person who's been just consuming, flavorful, tasty food for a while and discovers perhaps he or she has to change their lifestyle, everything else is going to be bland from now on.
Absolutely.
It's retraining your taste bud.
This is true as well. We can learn, right?
You can do that. But there's also things that you see people, and I have relatives like that too. You go to dim sum, before the food came, a dish of chili patty with soy sauce is there. So even before you taste it, you stick it in and put it in your mouth. So I just reminding the chef did all this work. It's meant to taste that way, right? But you without even tasting it, you're already adding soy sauce and oyster sauce and all kind of thing in it. May not be the right thing.
So, for example, to change that, we could just omit the soy sauce and just have the chili, right?
There you go, Angel. Okay. No, I'm not endorsing that, but that's an option, right?
To remove that salt.
Yes.
Okay.
So why is high blood pressure so tricky?
High blood pressure, because as I said, a lot of us don't even know it exists. Okay, but the issue with high blood pressure, it is one of those closely linked to heart disease. That's why cardiologist is here this morning. It's closely linked to stroke, heart attack, heart failure, and you name it. Those are nasty disease. Okay, so getting high blood pressure is not great. But if you try and control it with lifestyle modification, we spend a lot of time talking about salt consumption, exercise, and if it doesn't work, then you should start thinking about seeing the doctors and getting it under control with some medication.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's speak more about blood pressure in particular, the perfect number, how high is too high, and how we can measure it.
Let's talk about that on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Declan J. Donovan with Hungry Heart on KISS 92.
So I know we've spoken about it before with doctors that have come before you, but it is just something that we tend to forget. What is the perfect range for blood pressure?
We are guilty of moving the goalpost sometimes.
Okay,
and we do. As we know more about it, we become more and more stringent. So the latest of the latest, and I meant August 2024, when European Society of Cardiology came up with the guidelines. They now have 120/70 as normal.
Wow, that's gone
Okay,
down.
120/70. And then you have 140/90 has high blood pressure. And in between, this 121 to 139 and the diastolic, which is the lower measurements of 71 to 89, they called it elevated blood pressure. So think of it like sugar. You talk about normal and diabetes, right? You have normal people and you have the diabetic, and you have the pre-diabetes.
Right.
So think of blood pressure that way. You have that range. And I when I checked my blood pressure, I thought maybe I have elevated blood pressure too. So that's reminding us to be more vigilant with our diet, with our lifestyle, etc. But also the guideline now recommend that if I have a patient coming to see me with this intermediate range, this elevated blood pressure, what they want us to focus on is to look at the patient profile, that person. Okay, now if it's a healthy person like you guys, okay, just recommend more exercise, watch your diet, and recheck it again. However, if you have someone who has a high risk factor, such as they already have diabetes, they already have a very strong family of heart disease, or they have a cholesterol which is off the chart, then the recommendation is try to control the blood pressure with lifestyle for 3 months. And if 3 months' time the blood pressure does not come down, and they have other coexisting risk factors, start initiating medical therapy. Don't wait until you have end organ damage.
Okay.
You mentioned, doctor, these numbers, so 120 over 70, 140 over 90, and then the elevated in-betweens, right?
Yes.
Are these age sensitive?
They are age sensitive in some way, but because they're very elderly, and not just elderly. You all know people. You all seen people who are older but actually super fit.
Yeah.
But those who are pretty frail, then you may not want to deliberately lower the blood pressure down too much, because they will be at the risk of falling. Because the blood pressure is low, they get dizzy, they have falls. But by and large, for vast majority of young people and middle-aged people, that's the range where the guideline is actually recommending.
Okay.
So are you saying that for the senior citizens, you don't want their blood pressure to go down too low? It's better to be a little bit more,
In the
not
middle?
elevated to the point where it's dangerous, but it's got to be a fine balance there, especially for the seniors.
You're quite right. It is a science and it's an art. Okay, so you have to individualize it. Guidelines are for everyone, but when you're looking at patient one-to-one, you have to make that call and you have to make the adjustments.
And this makes it even more important for everyone to check their blood pressure.
I don't have a
it is.
BPM machine at home.
But you see, all of us have elderly patients, elderly parents and
Yeah.
relatives at home. So if you don't have it, they might have it. And when you visit them, check it. Or otherwise, those little gadgets from, the
Lazada. and
Yeah,
Shopee.
they are reasonable Christmas gifts to give away.
That's a great Christmas gift idea, actually.
But I'm so surprised this morning actually that you've revealed the new
Numbers.
hypertensive
Yes.
numbers, right? Diastolic going down to 70. It used to be 120 over 80.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And lower blood pressure for us, in a way, in medical field, is a best buy. What can you do to improve the patient's long-term outlook? And we're talking about long-term risk management here, right?
Yeah.
So lowering blood pressure by 10 millimeter mercury, just 10 millimeter mercury, that sounds a lot, 130 drop to 120, or 80 drop to 70 in the diastolic. Just dropping 10 millimeter mercury, you reduce the lifetime cardiovascular risk by 20%.
Oh, wow.
So it is a best buy in a way. Stroke risk reduced by about 28%. MI risk, heart attack risk reduced by about 17%. So just by controlling that, by whatever means, diet, exercise, or medical therapy,
Right.
actually you do a favor, a lot of big favor to your patients.
So you were talking about the numbers for older patients. We've been talking about aging population, numbers going up and all that. What about for kids or for younger people? Because a lot of the kids these days have sedentary lifestyles. They're eating their fast food, their hawker food. So your sodium levels are clearly up. Your activity is down.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more younger people with high blood pressure?
I own my disclaimer. I only get involved when they hit 16.
Okay, fair
anything
enough.
younger than that,
Fair
they
enough.
go and see my wife, who are British.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, the very young people, you need to do a little bit more investigations, because there are other reasons. Okay, the one which is really topical, and I believe some of the respiratory physicians might be coming on the show might be talking about sleep apnea. So this is also an increasing problems. So that's a lot of his lifestyle, to put on weight. Maybe the alcohol consumption side is a bit higher, or the fine wines are coming in, and then these group of people they do have premature hypertension at a young age.
Wow,
Right.
okay.
Okay. Let's go back on air.
Kiss 92 traffic.
In the CTE tunnel towards the AYE, right before the Bukatima Road exit, look out for a broken down vehicle. It's causing quite a bit of backup to the PIE Jurong exit. Avoid lane 1 if you really must go down that route. And on the KJE towards the PIE before the Woodlands Road exit, avoid lane 1 as well. An obstacle has been spotted. Wherever you are this morning, if you spot anything else, our number is 885550
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It is Good Morning Doctor Day, and our guest for today is from Mount Elizabeth Novena Hospital. He is a cardiologist, Dr. Paul Ong. Welcome to the show once again. We're talking about high blood pressure today, and we're talking about taming your blood pressure before it claims you. The thing about high blood pressure here is that some people don't take it seriously enough. They think it is the least of, other conditions. But as the doctor mentioned, just having high blood pressure and not treating it will lead to other issues like heart disease. What else can it lead to, doctor?
Heart disease, heart attack, strokes, heart failure. These are big ones. Kidney failures.
So it affects the kidneys as well?
Yes. Yeah.
And why is it? Why does it affect the kidneys?
High blood pressure somehow accelerates the aging of our arteries. Okay, you can use various medical terms like atherosclerosis, but it actually at the end is aging. And I tell my patient, you look great. For a 60-year-old, you look at 50, but your arteries looks like a 70-year-old.
Oh dear.
So high blood pressure, accelerate a lot of these disease process. Okay, and then for kidneys, it's not easy, hard to imagine, right? Kidneys like a filter. You keep the good stuff in and the rubbish you need to throw out. And when your pressure is high, all the good stuff are leaking out. So the proteins and all the good things are leaking out. So kidneys really get hit quite hard. But for the heart, to generate, our heart has to beat every second, right? So our heart, to generate a normal pressure doesn't have to work very hard. But imagine you're constantly asking the heart to give you a blood pressure of 150, 160. Imagine how hard the heart will have to work. And of course, they have premature heart failure because of that. So it is important, and I emphasize again and again, check the blood pressure. If you don't check, you don't know you have it.
Right.
When you have it, then you need to do something about it. Don't just sit on it.
And here's the tricky thing about blood pressure, right? I mean, when you're worried, for example, your blood pressure goes up as well.
Yeah, fair enough. So my patient will have done the Google search. They come to me and say, Doc, I only have high, white coat.
White coat syndrome.
Yeah, I only have white coat. So that's where you enter the debate. But I usually would tell them, yes, it's true. Measuring blood pressure, one of so-called office blood pressure, a snapshot. Blood pressure sometimes can be high because the cuff blew up, that you are a bit nervous. You see a doctor, you don't know how much you're going to charge you, know how long you're going to wait, you can't park, etc., etc. I understand that. But the important thing is you can have a blood pressure machine at home. You can do your home blood pressure monitoring. Do it at home. I told them to discard the first measurement. That's always a bit high. Okay, give yourself best of 3. Write down the one which is the best of 3. Then you know what it's like. And do it sometimes during the day, doing it at night, weekends when you're more relaxed. That's when you know whether you have high blood pressure.
Should someone do it every day?
I think if you're healthy, even if I tell them to do every day, they won't bother. So I realistically, if you don't have high blood pressure, check it once or twice a month is more than enough. But don't just ignore it.
Yeah, I got to do it again real soon. I used to do it every week without fail. And now after you've revealed the new numbers, which is, folks, in case you're tuning in right now, 120 over 70.
And high is 140
I think I might have
90.
elevated levels because I don't remember my diastolic ever going down to 70. It's always 75, 78.
So if you're between 71 and 89, that's considered the elevated blood pressure.
It's a bit, a lot stricter.
Oh my God, now I'm worried.
No.
Now I'm worried, doctor. I'm going to go home and test myself
now
later.
It's going to raise your blood pressure.
And I've been playing so much golf. I've been drinking. I've been smoking cigars. Oh my goodness.
I'll hand you my name card later.
Okay, let's continue to talk to the doctor on the Big Show TV. It is 8:19.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by
Oh,
So, doctor,
boy.
we've spoken about things like lifestyle changes, like maybe lowering the amount of alcohol you consume, the amount of sodium, get more active. But are there other treatments available in Singapore to cope with high blood pressure?
Yeah, I think medical treatment is good. Actually, one of the earliest medicine, in medical history is treat blood pressure. So blood pressure treatment has been around for a long, long time. And it's a very mature treatment. So we have a good choice of drugs. But treating blood pressure a lot of times, in a way, I find that it's like a matchmaker. I have my patient in front of me. Hey, this guy looks, and then I have thousands of drugs. So I need to pick a drugs that fits him. And I do warn my patient, I'm pretty good. Usually my matchmaking is pretty good. But sometimes you don't get it right. So I have to warn them, like, look, when you first start medication, try it. Okay, if it doesn't work, don't be too frustrated and upset. We can always rebalance it, either up and down the dose, or we try something else. But don't be too put off immediately if the drugs didn't work or you hit a side effect, because there are so many drugs. And if there's one drug which is head and shoulder above everything else, then life is easy, right? Everyone you're using that one. There won't be thousands of them.
Right.
So it's a bit of matchmaking and get the drugs right. But of course, not every patient can tolerate drugs. And some people, when they say yes, they buy all drugs. When they go home, they decide to be doctors themselves and nurses themselves. So this blue one, I'll take it alternate day. This one I'll cut in half and I will take it only the weekend. And you get that too. So it's the consultation, how you bring them on board and be compliant with the treatment. It is a partnership between doctors and patients. You have to get it right.
And it doesn't mean if you're on medication, your blood pressure is going to be perfect every single time. If you have a hard day at work, for example, you go back, you test, it might be elevated as well.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it's sometimes, that the blood pressure is supposed to fluctuate. When you're stressed, it's a natural response to your fight and flight response. So you allow the blood pressure to go up down a little bit, but majority of time, when I emphasize when they check the blood pressure at home, majority of time you should be seeing your 120/70.
Okay. So anything below that would be considered low blood pressure? Is that correct?
Yeah, but low blood pressure, no, yes and no. Low blood pressure is as long as the person is not symptomatic, as long as they don't feel dizzy, they don't feel unwell with it. Actually, why not? Okay, nobody complain if you are only getting if you get a star, you won't be upset. And I just want an A, right? So your blood pressure is well controlled. And sometimes just because they're a bit numerically a bit low, and you're going to adjust the drugs, sometimes they rebound pretty badly. So if the blood pressure is good and you don't have side effects of it, stick to it. Don't just go and self-adjust the drugs.
Okay. Well, speaking of side effects, I mean, there are people, like you said, you need to find the proper mating of patient and drugs, right? But there will be some people that experience a lot of side effects.
Yes.
Is there anything new in the industry that you can talk about?
Yeah, I'd like to share with you. There are people who have multiple drugs. They have 3 or 4 drugs and still couldn't get it under control, and there are people who just cannot tolerate a lot of the medication. The various side effects start to hit them, or they have allergic reactions to it. So in those patients, there's now a procedure. The procedure is called renal denervation, or you can think of it like a high blood pressure procedure. So it is, what we understand is the kidneys and especially the autonomic nerve. These are the system that control automatic adjust blood pressure. They're very rich around the kidney arteries area. So now there's a procedure that we can do. Okay, the patient will have local anesthetics and sedation. From one of the blood vessels in the leg, we thread a very small tube into the kidney arteries, and we apply heat energy to actually selectively ablate, or basically burn off, some of these autonomic nerves. Okay, we have to do on both sides of the kidneys, and once it's done, we are able to see gradually over the next few months a gradual drop of blood pressure.
Oh, wow.
It is a very successful procedure, and we've been doing it for quite some time globally, and these are typically targeting people with very resistant high blood pressure, or those who just cannot get the blood pressure controlled because of side effects and all that.
That is amazing.
So wouldn't this just be something that someone wants to do without having to do the drugs? Just get it over and done with?
Yeah, very good question, and I get asked that a lot. But I think a procedure is a procedure. There is certain cost involved. And I don't mean dollar and cents. There are certain procedures, risk involved, and it's not the most comfortable things on earth. But it is a bit of expectation management. So let's face it, if I have a person who is young and a blood pressure of 135 over 82, would you really want to go through a procedure for this? I'm not very sure. So we are largely using, this procedure for a selected group of people. Okay. So not those, because of lifestyle, I just don't want to take pills. So I will counsel against that.
Okay.
Now, this is an amazing session here today, because I think a lot of people have not been taking their blood pressure seriously. And I think one very strong message that we are putting out this morning is that, look, if there's anything you need to take care of first is your blood pressure. Because if you don't, that's going to lead to a lot of bigger problems.
And check it.
My
Please
goodness,
check it.
we have so many comments on our Facebook right now. Someone said, Christine's asking, what is the ideal blood pressure for someone over 65? Does it still fall within the same range?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
David Yo says, should we check before or after eating food with our blood pressure?
Doesn't really matter, okay? But as long as you check it, I'll be happy.
So see, this is your time to ask the doctor questions. Aloysius has said, I have one question. I'm above 55 and my BP is around the systolic number is 120 to 128 and diastolic 75 to 85.
Okay, so
should I worry about that? Is it too high?
It belongs to the elevated blood pressure group. Okay, so it needs to look at other aspects of it. Was there a history of diabetes? What's your cholesterol? And we've all been asked to go for annual health check, right? So you need to look at those figures as well. Your blood sugar. Have a look at your cholesterol. Is there strong family history with smoking? Smoking, we didn't talk about it, okay? So cut down on all those, adjust all these, and then recheck it after 3 months.
After 3 months, okay.
Give up your soy sauce and oyster sauce.
Okay, Albert.
That's a lot to give up.
It is. No more drinking, no more smoking, no more soy sauce, no more eating.
It's all negative. It's not like that. We just talk about healthy lifestyle.
Okay, all right.
And check regularly because if you're doing all that and you're checking and somehow miraculously everything is perfect,
but we check it, right? We wear sports watch, we wear wearables. They're actually giving us a lot of feedback for heart rate, and some of them actually even give us blood pressure as well.
Yes.
So any means, just have it assessed.
Nice. Albert, I feel, probably was on some medication, but he's saying that if the BP is down to normal, is it still advisable to continue taking 5 mg of Zestril?
Very good questions, and I get asked a lot. Doc, do I have to take the medication? And the next question is, how long do I have to take it? Unfortunately, once you've gone through the lifestyle modifications and you kind of give up and you accepted that you have high blood pressure, you need treatments. Treatment is usually long-term, long-term. Okay, so you are getting a commitment for long-term, lifelong medication, and think of it, you are taking something to protect you. Okay, so it's a little bit like your medical insurance. You bought your medical insurance and you're in your 30s and 40s. Would you want to give it up when you're 50?
Yeah.
I promise you, when you're 70, you beg the insurance company not to kick you out. So if you're taking something to protect you, you stop taking it, you lose the protection. And now you lose your protection in your 60s or your 70s. That's actually a lot worse. So my advice is, if there's a clear understanding why you need to go on medication, carry on with it.
Okay, all right.
All right, we'll come back with one last talk set on the radio. Stay tuned.
Do what I should do. Do what I could do.
Kiss 92 traffic.
There are a ton of road closures going into the Marina Bay area, so do look out for that. If you do work in the area, take alternative transport. Also, if you're on the PIE towards Tuas, an accident has been spotted after Thompson Road's exit. For anything else, let us know what's happening out there. It's 885550
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV on Good Morning Doctor Day. Our guest is Dr. Paul Ong, cardiologist from Mount Elizabeth Novena Hospital, and we are talking about blood pressure today. Now, doctor, apart from the side effects, right, why do people, not want to take medication? Yeah, I mean, why do they not want to take medication if it can help them?
I think it's all whether you can accept the idea of taking a drug. You kind of move from being totally healthy to become a patient. And I think that psychological divide there, I think, the first pill is always harder to convince the person to take it. And you look at some of the elderlies, they're on 6 pills, taking away one, adding another one, they don't really fight it that much. But it's the young ones, especially the healthy ones. They feel healthy, as you said. Blood pressure is 140 over 90. I don't feel it, okay? But now I have to take a pill every day. That's how I see it. Correct. And then you Googled it. and you see all the horrible things that these drugs can do to you, and then you start imagining, oh, did I have that? Or maybe I had that too. No wonder I'm so tired. I shouldn't be taking these drugs. And there is a lot of that. So it's actually getting the message across why you need to do it. And I would say the same, putting money aside to your CPF account does hurt us every month a little bit. But you know what? In the long term, that's what you want to do. You really don't want to be exposed when later on in your life and you risk having a stroke, risking having heart attack, kidney failure. You are putting money in your saving account by protecting yourself so that we grow old graciously.
Right. Because I'm just thinking, like, for someone who can't change his or her lifestyle, very much, then the wise option would be to see if they can take medication. Because I've seen blood pressure medication. It's a very tiny pill.
Yes. And it's now, to improve compliance, sometimes, we worry that patients take too many pills, too many tablets. They're actually now 2-in-1 pills, 3-in-1 pills. So one tablet at night, and that's it, that's done. Actually, you think about it, a lot of us will go to the health shops and buy all kind of supplements and self-dose yourself, thinking this will improve my eyes and this will improve my blood pressure. And those cost way for more, with blood pressure pills. If you go and get it from your GP or your polyclinics, actually it's very, very cost effective. So why is it okay for you to do your research and treat yourself and not let the professional do it with you?
This is true as well.
One last question, very quickly, for the people who are on medication already. What's the best time to take medication? Is there a best time to take
There is now no best time. Your time is the best time. If your habit dictates better in the morning, take it in the morning. Some people entertain a lot at night. They don't take it at night. So whatever suits you. And we have proven that on research. The last month in London, they have a trial comparing morning and nighttime. Makes no difference.
Okay, amazing. We do have a lot of questions on our Big Show TV on Facebook, so perhaps you can get to those later because there's some important questions out there, but we've run out of time, and we always do. But thank you so much,
thank
Doctor,
you so much,
for
Angel.
being
thank
here.
you, Glenn, for hosting us.
It's been a pleasure, Doctor.
Yeah, my pleasure too. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to The Big Show's Good Morning Doctor. Yeah, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Off the hook.
Switch them.
Discover how you can trust your spark to be your best self on The Big Show. Brought to you by DBS. Live more, bank less. I absolutely love this segment, DBS Spark, because over the past few weeks, we've spoken to some of the most successful, some of the most interesting people. We've spoken to Olympian Max Mader, Shanti Pereira, and today we are so honored to have the Group Head for Strategic Marketing and Communications at DBS, Karen Ngui. Welcome, Karen.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. So today we're talking about trusting our spark, but specifically trust your spark with DBS. Can you just tell us what that's about?
Well, first of all, Glenn mentioned about, speaking to many people about their spark. The good thing is, you don't have to be famous to have a spark. Each and every one of us has a spark within us. And it's that sense of self-belief, that conviction that helps us to kind of think positive and enables us to kind of be our best selves. And that's why at DBS we say live more, bank less. Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
So what was the inspiration behind Trust Your Spark?
The world we live in today is increasingly, sort of challenging, so much uncertainty, so much going out there. And I think it's important to kind of have a sense of true north and believing in yourself and believing in that support network that we all need is essential. Family, friends, even your bank, even other organizations that you work with. I think that gives us that impetus to kind of go on. And as I said earlier on, be our best selves.
Right. Now, Karen, could you tell us a little bit more about the campaign itself?
Well, first and foremost, Glenn, with all due respect, we don't really want to call it a campaign per se.
Okay.
It's more like a movement. We want more and more people to believe in themselves, to find the courage of their convictions. And with Max, we said he believed in himself at age 11. He wanted to be world champion. My goodness, yeah. And he went on. He worked hard, and he went on. He trusted his spark, and went on to kind of become world champion. But then again, it's not just about the world champions. It's like you and I, everyday people, basically, just getting by, and facing, the ups and downs of life. And we felt that sort of that message of encouragement, of hope, of self-belief is important. And that notion of trusting in yourself, trusting in your bank, is increasingly elusive, yet increasingly important in today's world that we live in.
Speaking of today, why now?
Well, why not now? Yeah,
this is true.
Yes, and after scams on the rise, as a bank, we believe that trust is sacrosanct. DBS is Singapore's largest bank. We're proud to be world's best bank. Many years in a row. We've also been recognized as Asia's safest bank. And we want to continue to earn that trust, to engender that trust from our customers, from the community at large. And it's something that we take very seriously. We pride ourselves in being a purpose-driven organization. And we believe in doing well by doing good.
Nice.
Now, the DBS, as in, DBS Bank, announced just a year ago that it will commit up to $1 billion Singapore dollars over the next 10 years and commit up to $1 billion dollars to the vulnerable communities. Now, we're going to talk about this on The Big Show TV right now. Okay, Karen? Up next, Charlie Puth featuring Jungkook. This is Left and Right on KISS 92. Yeah.
So, to commit and to support vulnerable communities and catalyze social impact. Tell us a little bit more about what that is, because this is under the DBS Foundation.
Correct,
right?
yeah. So I wear two hats, so the bank hat as well as the DBS Foundation hat. Privileged to say that the DBS Foundation actually turns 10 this year. We started it in 2014 with $50 million that was on the cusp of SG50, right, in 2015. We felt as Singapore's largest bank, being a strong believer in the importance of actually kind of ensuring no one is being left behind. We thought that we should do our part in society. So it's about creating financial value and also creating societal value. Last year, in August last year, then the bank and the board decided that, we should actually basically do more to help vulnerable communities in Asia. It's tough enough as is being, but at least we're able to help ourselves when we trust our spark, right? Yeah. But the vulnerable communities would have it even harder. So we're looking at uplifting lives of the vulnerable by providing them with daily needs, essential needs, shelter, food, simple education, and also uplifting livelihoods of these people by providing them with basic financial and digital literacy skills. This way, we hope that they're able to break out that cycle of poverty and actually kind of improve lives for generations ahead.
What a wonderful thing.
It is. And you mentioned Asia, so it's not just a Singapore initiative. It's across the region.
Yeah. So DBS operates in 6 markets in Asia, and so it's in all our 6 markets: Singapore, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, India, and Indonesia.
Wonderful. That's lovely.
Now, Karen, what makes this long-term commitment, which is, pretty enduring and massive, so different from the many efforts by other companies and other corporations?
Well, I think everyone sets out with the best of intentions. I think with DBS as an organization, we've been doing really well. Proud to say that we're the first Singapore public listed company to be valued at over 100 billion Singapore dollars. Yeah. And effectively, we do really want to kind of demonstrate, that, we're serious when we talk about being purpose driven. We're serious when we talk about doing well by doing good. And, rather than have sort of ad hoc commitments, I think having a 10-year commitment enables us to drive change at a systemic level, which we believe is very important.
When you talk about trust your spark, everyone has a spark of some sort or the other. Say I have a spark, or someone listening in has a spark. What would they do to get the help of DBS? What do they have to do? What are the first steps?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's to kind of reach out to, any of our, depending if you're a business customer, we have our SME banking colleagues. If you have a large business, we have our institutional banking colleagues. If you're a consumer customer, you can reach out to our consumer banking folks, your relationship manager, or even step into any branch, or, sign up for DBS Digibanking. And, we'll be more than ready to help. Also, if you're a budding entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, or business with a you're looking for innovative solutions to kind of help the community at large. We recently just closed our DBS Foundation Grant Award. We received over 1,500 applicants from all over the region. It will open again next year, so do sign up. Wow. And we are also constantly looking at ways to kind of actually bring the whole community along. So if there are other partners who wanting to come in and partner the DBS Foundation to create social impact, please do reach out. It's a whole ecosystem approach. I mean, society needs all the help it can get, and the more we can work together to drive collective action, the better.
Nice.
I feel like everyone's on digibanking already right now.
For sure.
Like, who's not?
For sure, my parents.
which is why we have actually also partnered IMDA to actually conduct financial literacy workshops, and so we've actually we've targeted 100,000 customers or elderly especially. We've actually conducted workshops for about 80,000 already.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So maybe get your parents to sign up.
Really, because I don't think my mom is unique in this aspect. Yesterday I was out with her and she had a card and she said she was paying by net, so then she tapped it. She doesn't know what Pay Now is. She doesn't trust that the app will keep her money where it is. She has to go to the ATM and physically draw it.
I see.
She doesn't.
So inconvenient.
No, but
that means to say, why not? That means you're not giving your mom enough money on a daily basis.
Nonsense. That's got nothing to do with
Actually, this is a good incentive. You tell her once she's on digibanking, every day I'll just pay now you
put
some
money in, right?
your
Better
allowance.
still DBS Payla, and so that her money will be safe with us. It's a wallet and
Because
it's very convenient.
If they don't see it and feel it, they don't think it's there. It's sort of in the cloud, and they're not sure if it's secure. So I think that's one of the biggest things for the
I think the best
illiterate.
is to learn by doing. So just walk through with her a few times. Once she gets a hang of it, well, she'll be set.
Yeah.
And don't
I'll
forget
try.
the incentive as well.
Okay,
Yes.
every day.
It worked
money.
like a charm for my
For your
mom.
mom?
So why? Safe or not? Safe or not? I'm like, the bottom line here is that I'll be giving you
So don't ask so many questions, right?
And whatever you need, money, just get in touch with me. I'll just send it to you
That's
straight
why
away.
your mom has to trust you. You're her spark, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does your mom use a computer?
No, but
Yeah,
she's
my
very good
mom-
on her phone.
Yeah, my
I mean,
mom's
that's the
okay on
computer
her
these
phone.
days.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's true. I'll try speaking to her.
So
'Cause
trust
it
your
pains
spark,
me.
trust you guys. You know, you are the support network for your parents. Yeah, and
This is true.
you've got DBS behind you too there. Yeah,
100%. 100%. Yeah.
and POSB as well.
I'm still on my POSB account. I don't have it's still my
Oh, yeah?
account from when I was a teenager. Still the same one. Yeah.
I always feel extra safe. I mean, I'm not just saying it because you're here, but you know, even when I'm overseas, I
Yeah.
use my cards, I make transactions, you know, every single thing, you know, I get alerted.
Yes,
You know,
of course.
so you know.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're always checking to see.
And it's a great app to use. It's a very easy app to navigate, very user friendly, and it is the local bank, right? It
Yes,
is
yes.
our bank.
You know, we should feel very proud how DBS bank from Little Red Dot is actually making waves on the global stage. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go back on air one last time. Major Lazer and DJ Snake. Lean on right here on Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place. Our second guest for this morning is the Group Head for Strategic Marketing and Communications at DBS, Karen Ngui. Once again, good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, Karen. Now, you're not just the group head for strategic marketing and communications at DBS. You're also, most recently, the head of DBS Foundation. Now, we're talking a little bit about it on the Big Show TV, but we'd like the radio listener to hear a little bit more about the $1 billion that's been committed over the next 10 years to step up support for vulnerable communities as well as catalyze social impact. Karen, could you let us know a little bit more about this in the context of how DBS Foundation is working on addressing all the needs of the vulnerable community?
Thank you, Angel. Well, first and foremost, the DBS Foundation is 10 years old. So to kind of mark our first decade of social impact, the board decided that it was timely to demonstrate how, as a purpose-driven bank, a purpose-driven organization, we do well by doing good. Hence, the commitment to give back to up to $1 billion in the next decade of the DBS Foundation. With that in mind, we did a lot of soul searching and decided that perhaps, the best way to actually create systemic change is to help communities that have the most difficulty in helping themselves, i.e. the vulnerable communities. And in order for them to break out of that cycle of systemic poverty, the best way that we can help them is to make their everyday better by providing them with essential needs such that they can actually look towards a brighter tomorrow. So once they don't have to worry about feeling hungry, nutrition, a roof above their heads, then they can start thinking about, literacy, financial literacy, digital literacy, and therefore start to perhaps maybe get better jobs, think about helping their children to actually get an education and break out of that cycle. So this is what we're doing, and we are looking for partners to work with the DBS Foundation on programs. We've also partnered MSF, supporting their various Comling families. We've also worked with IMDA, and this is a regional initiative, and we actually are looking to actually also create social impact in outside Singapore, 5 other markets.
Amazing. I
In
like that
Asia.
because once you take care of the roof over your head and your daily needs, that's when someone can really concentrate on how to be creative and how to learn.
Yeah.
So I
Because
do
otherwise it's like a repeating cycle. Of
course.
But I think that notion of breaking out of the cycle, I think is important.
Yeah, amazing.
But is there one key challenge that the foundation and the bank want to prioritize? and address?
We again looked at, there are just so many social issues out there, but something that's, I think, staring us at the face is this whole silver tsunami that's upon us. And Singapore is fast becoming a super aged society, present company included. Yes, not you guys.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me.
The thing is, people tend to think that aging is about a certain demographic. That's the aged. But I think as a society, when we're thinking about how to help societies to age better, to age, healthier, it is actually about more thinking about longevity instead about aging per se, because the healthier we are, the better we would all age. And we thought that if we kind of actually introduce a sort of a focal point around the topic of aging differently, aging better, aging well, and actually maybe kind of flip it around to think about living healthier, living longer lives, more purposeful lives. That would be good. Yeah, so that's what we'll be focusing on. Yeah,
Health is wealth.
health is
Absolutely.
wealth, and I think it's also not about just physical health, it's emotional health,
Yeah.
social health. So it's your whole person and your whole being that's important, your family, your friends, and the whole community at large. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Thank you very much. Karen, thank you very, very much indeed for joining us this morning, taking time off your busy schedule. We've been speaking to Karen Ngui, Group Head, Strategic Marketing and Communications, and the Head of DBS Foundation. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for